TNA Wrestling, what a hot product we got going on right now. It's so incredible. Hey, November 13th to the 15th, they're going to be at Full Sail Live in Orlando, Florida. And then also you can catch them in El Paso, Texas, December 5th through the 7th. Great entertainment, great shows, great wrestling, great talent. Just what an spectacle to see. Entertainment and wrestling at its best. You can catch them Thursday nights on Access TV, 8 p.m., plus Roku, 24/7. The TNA Wrestling Library is available. You can check it out anytime. So that's cool too. Ryan Nemeth, this is just so amazing. Your ride. You are multitasking, brother, doing the comedy, doing the wrestling. I want to talk about wrestling, but I also want to talk about comedy. But first, I'll get your take on these shows coming up, Orlando and El Paso, Texas.
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited. Very excited for Orlando because once upon a time was part of NXT and WWE, and we did all of our tapings at Full Sail University. So coming back to Full Sail in Orlando for TNA is, it kind of gives me goosebumps and memories and sentimental kind of feelings. When I was in NXT, I was going out there in Full Sail to, lose to the Ascension in a 40-second match. Now I feel a little more established. I have a better thing going in TNA. And so I don't know what the cards hold for me in Orlando, but I think it's going to be a little bit better than losing to the Ascension in 40 seconds. I think, everything I'm doing with my brother is super fun. He's now won that big old trophy that is halfway, maybe Frankie Kazarian's. We'll see if there's any controversy with that. But this is going to be huge. It's the first live taping we've had since we have a new champ in Mike Santana, and I cannot wait to for my own personal homecoming in Florida at Full Sail.
It's so interesting too because you brought that up. I'm just wondering, how is Ryan different in TNA wrestling from Briley Pierce?
That's a great question, and one of my family friends asked me that recently. Well, Briley Pierce did just what he was supposed to do. He was silly, lovable, was a part-time interviewer, and he went out and he lost very quickly to the people that NXT were focused on. And that's okay. That's what my job was back then. And I will say it was nice. I learned a lot and I got to work with, people who have been main eventing in WWE and around the world since then. But I really, 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 really like what I'm doing in TNA a lot more. I get to be myself. There's still a little bit of that Briley Pierce in me. When I'm doing Get Close with Ryan, the Instagram interview show, you can still see some of that kind of fun and jokiness coming around. And I use some of that comedy still when I'm doing the live stand-up. In fact, November 22nd, if you're in Burbank, California, I'll be at Flappers. But yeah, Ryan Nemeth is more vicious. He's more aggressive. People say he's evil and a heel. I think I'm just doing what I believe is right in my heart to defend my family's honor. So I'm a little different than Briley Pierce, that's for sure.
Well, Ryan, what is it like with this whole thing coming around? Because now TNA Wrestling working with WWE NXT, who knew? Who thought that could be possible one day? But what it's been like because the company has really elevated itself. You're getting more fans interested in the product. You're seeing it at the live events. You're seeing it just by on Thursday night TV. It's just amazing streaming. What has it been like that collaboration? Do you ever think something like that could happen?
It's very exciting, and no, I never thought anything like that would ever happen. In fact, I remember being in NXT, and when other companies would be mentioned, the people in charge at the time, back in my coaching and producer circles, they were not high on us talking about talent from other companies, and I'm including Ring of Honor, I'm including TNA. Those were the main companies at the time. And it's crazy to think that right now we are kind of in this very real, literal, legally bound partnership with WWE. It's so wild. I never in a million years thought that would happen, but I've met a lot of friends who are newer in NXT and WWE that I never overlapped with. Trick Williams, we've become so close. He is now the godfather of one of my kids. And I never expected that. I never even met him until, this is crazy. But it's cool. It's like George Costanza said, the worlds are colliding.
You're referencing George Costanza. This is it. But when George said that, it wasn't a good thing. Do you remember, Ryan?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't have
This
my
is a good
worlds collide.
this is a good thing for us. I like these worlds colliding because the numbers are up. Business is going, everything's coming up Millhouse for TNA. If I could borrow another 90s TV show slogan. I mean, it is the attendance at our houses. We've been setting records over and over again with TNA PLEs, and I can't believe that I'm lucky enough to be a part of what's going on. And I'd like to think helping a little bit as well.
Well, I would think so. Hey, I just have to address this because you and your brother had that amazing tag match against the Hardy Boys. And I've worked them before, but Rebellion. Tell me about Rebellion, how
Mhm.
cool that was. You're working them. It's in April in LA. And guess what? You're beating the Hardys for the TNA Tag Team Championships. That's just so cool. What was that all like for you?
That was just about the greatest match of my, the greatest night of my life, probably in pro wrestling. You just asked about Briley Pierce. I mean, let's fast forward to another company I worked in a couple of years ago. Things weren't that much better for, like I had some matches where the minutes, it wasn't 40 seconds, it was a minute and 40 seconds, but I was still, my job was making other people look good. You're not the focus, someone else is. So fast forward to be somehow through all those ups and downs, in a main event match at a sold out house in my hometown of Los Angeles with my dad, the front row, my girlfriend, front row, uh, a lot of my friends sitting front row ringside to watch my brother and I in a match that, a lot of our family and friends didn't even know that we had been wrestling together until that night. And they saw us wrestle against the Hardys and win and become champions. That was in credit part of my language, but effing incredible. I mean, I'll never forget that night. I will never forget that night. And I'm so grateful, you know, to be part of it. I thank TNA, I thank the wrestling fans, I thank my brother for, the teaming with him has been incredible. All these things I never thought were really going to ever happen. I've kind of given up on mentally, and TNA kind of made these things happen. So I really do appreciate that.
You know what? You mentioned your dad.
And I'll say, and the fans too. I mean, if the fans weren't responding to it, and this is something I'm borrowing that my brother has said when we do interviews, if the fans weren't responding to what we were doing as a team or what I was doing with him, none of this would happen. But it was it was working so well that we had to win that match. We had to be reign as tag champs all summer. I mean, it was inevitable, really.
And you mentioned your dad. And I'm curious about this because
Yeah.
I asked your brother this a while ago when we did an interview. Did you ever have any thoughts? And by the way, happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. But have you ever had any thoughts of the military when you were growing up?
I'll tell you something odd. I considered the priesthood for a while.
Wow.
I know that's not the question you're asking.
No,
And
but you know what? You went to St. Edwards.
yeah. I went to St. Edwards, and at first there was a while I thought the religious life was in the cards for me. And as far as military goes, my cousin Shane, he's a Marine. My dad was in the Army. I have a lot of respect for people who choose the military life. And I guess maybe it's still an option for me. Maybe when this wrestling thing wraps up, I'll enlist in the Navy or something,
Or
or
you'll
the
be
or the
father.
seminary.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Or you become Father Ryan. That's what I'm thinking. Or wait,
Father Ryan, yeah.
Father. I don't.
You know,
Maybe.
I keep in touch with Father Tom Mahoney from Cleveland. I don't know if he's listening, but he's a great source of advice and friendship. He was our local priest, in St. Patrick's, West Park, growing up, and it's kind of crazy. You form these bonds with people. There's some wrestling coaches, and then there's Father Tom Mahoney. Call him up, check in, get some advice in the world.
That is so cool. And remember George Foreman ran his own church. He was like a pastor, minister, whatever. You just never know, Ryan. You never know
Yeah,
what's going to
yeah.
happen. But your thing has been comedy, and I want
I
to get
went
to.
to it. I was only going to say that I went this Sunday. I went to Catholic Mass. It was all Spanish speaking, and I thought, well, I kind of know what's going on here, but even through the language barrier, I'm understanding the community and nice, sense of spiritualness we have here. So shout out to my Our Lady Grace in Encino, California.
Yes, that's right. Keeping it Catholic strong. That's what I like to say.
All right, baby. Yeah.
All right, comedy. Love to get to but I gotta ask this thing.
Yeah,
All right, but do this quick because I know we don't have a limited amount of time. I mentioned St. Edward's
right.
High School. All right,
Yeah.
top five graduates. I got to think you're in the top five of graduates. Come on, there's your brother and you. Am I right on Johnny Gargano? Am I right? He was St. Edward's too, or no? Am I wrong on
He
Gargano?
went to St. Ed.
All right.
He did go to St. Edwards, I think.
All
Yeah.
right, then I'm thinking
Uh,
Michael Simon. Michael Simon, if you're into the food, the chef, and I'm thinking but sorry guys, I am so sorry because you're a guest here, and I want to give you number one spot, but I gotta say I'm old school, Ryan. I got to go with Phil Donahue. That's my guy.
I knew it. I knew it. You know what? If you didn't mention Phil Donahue, I would have thought, what, you got to do your research, buddy. Phil Donahue's number one. Yeah.
What a great place. And hey, when you were growing, did you go to college? Your brother went to Kent State. Did you go to college after high school, or you just started to do
I
work and
went
do your
to
career?
I went to Xavier University. I studied English literature and theater, and I got a taste for live comedy and writing and all that stuff. So that's where that whole thing came from, is the Xavier University theater department. Kathy Springfield was in charge then. I don't know if she still is, but that set me off going to Chicago, doing improv at IO and Second City people, and getting involved in LA and stuff. And yeah, I'm really happy to be able to do all of that. The schedule and the career at TNA allows me to keep pursuing acting and comedy and writing and all that, and I really value that. Yeah.
And a segue into
And
yeah, and a segue
yeah,
into the comedy. Oh, by the way, Xavier, good basketball. I wanted to get that out there. Yes, that's right, good basketball, Xavier. But
yep,
going to the comedy, I didn't never knew that about you as far as Xavier and starting to learn there. What is it like
yeah,
comedy
they
wise? We'll wrap this up with this. But what is it like comedy wise? As far as do you collaborate with your brother at all too on jokes and things you're going to do, or is it more you
we
just do it
collaborate.
yourself?
We have this variety show, Hunkamania, we take to cities, and then we got to get it going again. We've taken a few months off, but we did one in New York for the big PLE there. We did LA. We love doing those shows. We do collaborate. We do our own thing. He'll do stand up. I'll do improv, sketch, and stand up, and write some stuff. When we can, we do it together. Definitely, yeah.
And just, I mean, how much fun is that for you? That's a, hey, you're in pro wrestling, and there are a lot of times everything's live. So you can't, there's no take
Yeah.
two like in movies or TV. But same thing with improv. You're up there live.
I say the similarities are that it's live and there's no second chances, but the differences is that if I forget my joke in stand up, uh, I don't end up getting punched or body slammed, and that might happen in wrestling. So it hurt. It hurts a lot more in wrestling. I'll say that.
Yeah, but you're going to get heckled a lot more too. And maybe they're going to throw a beer bottle at you or something.
That's right. Yeah, they're a lot rowdier in wrestling. It's funny when the wrestling fans come to the comedy shows and start doing that kind of stuff, and the comedy fans are like, what are they talking about? Why don't they like Rocky? Why do they hate this guy?
Oh man, it's so great. And then, all right. So thank you for your time. Thanks for doing this. We got big shows
Thank
coming
you.
up. Full Sail Live, November 13th to 15th in Orlando, El Paso, Texas, December 5th through the 7th, 8 p.m. Thursdays, Access TV. Hey, I'm leaving you out on this. Ryan's favorite wrestlers growing up and Ryan's favorite comedians growing up. And thank you.
I love, two of them are in the same category. Andy Kaufman's one of them, so he's both. That's a twofer right there. Uh, I would say Kurt Angle. I would say Chris Farley. I would say I loved Ric Flair. I would say I loved man, I don't want to do growing up with comedian. There's so many contemporary comedians I love right now. I love Michael O'Brien. I love Sam Richardson. I love Tim Robinson. Jenna Friedman is like one of my all-time favorites. Uh,
I was a big
and
Kennison
then
guy. I was a big Kennison and
oh yeah,
Rodney Dangerfield. That's old school. I loved Kennison. Oh, oh, ah.
he was a great guest star on an amazing Christmas episode of Married with Children.
Oh,
He
yes.
played like the angel. He played the angel when Al Bundy was gonna, it was
Yeah,
like
well,
our A Wonderful Life.
deciding. All right, Ryan. You take care. All the best, brother.
Don't forget it. Full Sail 13, 14, 15 in El Paso in December. I'll see you guys there. Thank you very much, sir.